Welcome back to digital logic. Let's see what we have today. What you learned last class. We talked about the latch and flip-flop. So the main difference between latch and flip-flop was what? Remember? The difference between latch and flip-flop? Yes.
Flip-flop uses the edge, while the latch uses the
level. Yes. Is active with level latch, but flip-flop is triggered by edge. That's the main thing. Thank you. That's the main thing. And today we want to talk about another type of flip-flop, that is JK flip-flop. That in this flip-flop we're gonna even remove the forbidden state. Instead of having just set and reset and memory. So, as you remember before, last class we said, okay, we have a state of set that latch becomes 1, flip-flop becomes 1, and then set, reset, or clear, that make the value of flip-flop or latch 0, and memory. We can move states. This is the states, different states. So the flip-flop is turning between these states. In memory, it can stay in memory as well. And also the thing based off the clock and stuff. So that's called a state diagram. If you have a state, you also can have a state diagram. Show it how this system works with transition between the states. Right? So today we're going to talk about another type of flip-flop called JK flip-flop. JK is like set and reset, but instead of having set, reset, and memory, has another state that is allowed. And that state is when we negate the Q. We just flip it out. When it's, for example, the value is 1, in that state becomes 0, and vice versa. That's amazing because we're going to have different states, 1 extra state, and also we're going to get rid of that forbidden state. We're also going to talk about how we can cascade flip-flops to make better, for example, make a 4-bit register or 4-bit memory. How we can make counters with just cascading these flip-flops. How we can make, for example, time divider, frequency divider. We can see that, or yeah, and put them together to make better, more advanced circuits. Okay. What is JK flip-flop? JK flip-flop is like an advanced version of RS flip-flop. If you remember RS, we had actually 2 NAND gates. And these NAND gates, they have from Q and Q bar. And we had a control part that in this control part we get S and reset, set and reset, and we put an clock. But this is not level of clock. This is A clock. Last class, we explained how we can change clocks to pulses. This is not pulses. So this is SR flip-flop that we talked before. But in this, we have 0 and 0, that this flip-flop acts as a memory. And or S flip-flop. If it's S1 is set, if R is 1, reset, and 1, 1 is invalid. So this invalid one is a little trouble. We don't want to have that. Is there any way to change this SR flip-flop to not this 1, 1 happening? Let's see when 1 happening. Look at what's happening here. If we have 1 here, okay. When the edge coming, 1 gonna get out, and this gonna be 0, and this gonna be 0 too. At the same time, Q become equal to Q bar. Okay, is there any way to just not let this happen? Because we already have something there, Q and Q bar, that they are negate of each other. What about I make another loop from this Q and Q and give them to the control part to not this happen, to not let this happen? How? Like that. Let's see. I'm going to get one feedback loop here, another one here. So in this case, when 1 happening, because for AND, 1 is like passing the door. For AND, when this is 1, whatever coming here, passing, like opening the door. So the 1 gonna open the door, and clock is nothing. Clock is just activating. So in this case, if the 1 happened, these two not gonna get equal anymore because they are getting a feedback from Q and Q bar. So this gonna be Q bar after negating gonna be Q, and this gonna be after negating Q, and gonna actually topple or invert whatever was inside. Whatever was inside of this, that was, for example, Q is gonna be Q bar this time. And this change this flip-flop SR to another flip-flop that they call it JK flip-flop, that has 4 states right now. Okay, let me clean this up. Yeah, take that picture. Any question about it? Because I want to clean it up. Okay, we have better, nicer picture of that. Okay. This is the JK flip-flop. So as you can see, we have what same as what I draw before, and here is a better version. And this pulse transition detector make pulse from clock. Clock is like this, has some level active, but after getting changed to the pulse, it's gonna be like that. Okay. So what states we have for JR flip-flop? If it's 0, 0, no change, is still memory. So we have memory if it's 0 and 0. And if J is 0, is reset. So 0 is memory. 0, 1 is reset. Okay. And 1, 0 is set. We have another state here that we call it toggle. So the toggle is actually flipping Q. Whatever is the Q, gonna be Q bar. So maybe you tell me, this come to your mind, why I didn't connect this to this NAND instead of that. If you do that, what's gonna happen? It's gonna make another memory. We don't want another thing. We already have memory. Why we make another memory? But right now we have another state, that this state is actually called toggle state. So we have another state. So if here is Q, here is Q bar. So that's the reason of having these groups or feedbacks. They also call feedbacks. Okay, what else here? Any question? So the basic still is this RS latch. And I found why in this book put instead of NAND this with negate input. Anybody can guess why in these pictures that I'm showing you, instead of showing NAND, they put OR with inverse and anything coming to your mind? The reason is because of this. Anytime you put a NOT as an input, like for example, you made a secret in this block box, and the input is like that. What that means? You ask me always about who is asking me about this? You always ask me, this is active low or active high. That's the reason. Because I want to show this is active low. That's the reason. To just show that. But other than that, there is no reason. There is no difference between these two. Okay. Anytime you put an input with circle that get negated, this is showing that this is active low. We're going to see that a lot later. Okay. So that flip-flop is a new flip-flop that has lots of more applications with having this toggle state. Okay. Let's go. Oh, there is some. Okay, so the key point is that the JK flip-flop is versatile. It can set as a set reset memory element, and depend on the control, depend on the input control, the control inputs. Another thing that we need to know is most of flip-flops, or in general, synchronized or asynchronized systems, or any system that working with memory, they have couple of inputs that they are not clocked. They are not synchronized. These kind of inputs change the state without pay attention to the clock, without checking the clock. They just, they have higher priority. For example, most of flip-flops have two inputs called pre reset and clear. So both of them are active low. That's why we put a not here, inverter here to show they are active low. So it means, so pre-reset means if this becomes 0, regardless of clock, right away, flip-flop gonna get 0. Sorry, become 1. And clear is make it clear. Okay, so let's see application of that. So these signals are asynchronous because, as I said, they don't care of actual clock. Let's see where they're gonna go. If you go back to the JK flip-flop or RS flip-flop, they all have, like D flip-flop, for example, here. So this is the structure of D flip-flop. We have one feedback loop from here, another one here. This is Q and Q bar. And we have a control part. This control part is actually set and reset, but in D flip-flop is negate of that. And these two are connected to pulse. Okay, so this is D flip-flop. Because D flip-flop and SR flip-flop are very similar. You just connect D to S and negate it for R. So this is D flip-flop. How we can make this flip-flop without considering clock 0 or 1. So for sure, we need to work in this part, because this part is controlled by clock, as you see. So what about we just connect, let's change this color to, we have another input in this part, and we call it preset, and here, clear. So if this becomes 0, regardless of clock, don't care about clock, because clock is in this side. If this becomes 0, after passing this, gonna get 1, and make this 1. And for clear, if this becomes 0, this part becomes 1, so the Q becomes 0, because Q bar is 1. So these two inputs consider as asynchronous inputs that immediately make flip-flop 0 or 1, regardless of clock. So that's the explanation also. If the preset is 0, force the output becomes 1, and if clear is 0, force the output becomes 0. So we need this kind of inputs as well for some applications to just make the memory clear or make it set for some applications without considering even clock input. Any question? Okay, so right now we learned a new flip-flop, and that flip-flop even have one state, extra state, that is negate of Q. That's good. Another thing that we learned is we can have some inputs that they don't care about clock. We call them asynchronous inputs, like clear and preset. So this is a clean version of that. But okay, this part now, let's have one example. This is the type of example that I always give in trees and exams. Okay, let's do this together. Okay, so here is a deep flip-flop. Okay, deep flip-flop means whatever is deep, there's a clock coming, that's gonna go pass out to the queue. So D is very simple. It's like a data. Okay, imagine, but here we have preset and clear. So we need to consider that. We have preset and clear. For example. So imagine Q is 1. Let's see, what is the Q at the beginning? I didn't, doesn't matter. We consider 0. Okay. So in this time, there is no clock. No clock yet. Clock is here. But because a preset coming, okay, first of all, I forgot to say something here. This part. When preset and clear, they are all high, the system acts normal. So if these two are just both 1, because they are active low, okay? 1 means is not active. So if they are both at the same time 1, the system acts normal. Okay, that was important. Let's back to this example. So here they are not both 1. One of them is 1, but one of them is 0. So preset is 0. Regardless of clock, we make the output 1. But right now, clock coming. Do we need to change it? No, because there is higher priority. This has higher priority even than clock. So this stay set all the way till here. But in this time, clear and preset both get 1. So it means system need to act normal. So this flip-flop gonna act normal. But is it the time to make decision? No, because still clock is not there. Clock coming in a little further. So still we continue because we not make decision. Here we make decision. Okay, what is the decision? What are we need to go to 0 or 1? It's different flop, normal. 0 or 1? How many people saying 0? Okay. How many people saying 1? What about the rest? So everybody agreed to being 0. Why? Because the data is 0. That's true. We are going to 0. Exactly. Okay. And because it's still they are 1 and 1, this high priority input. So we keep continuing 0 to make decision to the next decision time. Edge of clock. This edge of clock is a decision time. Okay, right now we make another decision. Is any higher priority? No, they are both not active. So right now we want to make decision, 1 or 0. Who said 1? 0. Good to vote. Okay, and it's 1 right now. Still these two are 1, so it means no higher priority. We keep going. Here we make decision. Because it's 0, we make it 0. I'm not going to ask again. Okay, and here we make decision again. Because these two are 1, we don't. There is no higher priority. We're going to go to 1 again and continue here. Here something happened. Even though it's not clock time, it's not decision time, but something higher priority happened, and that's clear. Clear become active. Get 0, is that bad? And we need to make clear the circuit anyway. We don't care about clocking. Good. So sometimes we have higher priority things. that we need to consider. Even though it's not clock, but we need to act based of them because they have higher priority. Okay, any question about that? I think you got the idea. We don't need to do another example. Let's go to another part that is very important, and that's actually making parallel storage. How we can make multiple, how we can put multiple flip-flops to make, for example, a register. Register is a kind of memory that is inside CPU, very high-speed memory. And it is very small, it's not big. The size is not large, it's small because it's so expensive. Designing that is expensive. And why? Because of this. You need to design it like that. It's very complex if you want to have big register. So register with D flip-flop easily can actually cascade it. You can cascade multiple D flip-flop and make, for example, 4-bit register. But what we need to consider, first of all, clock. They all need to be synchronized with one clock. So we connect them to the one clock. Another notation that I need to tell you, when we put clock here, this is latch. But if we have clock with this triangle, this means it's pulse, it's not clock anymore. And this is flip-flop. So this little triangle showing that this is clock for pulse. Okay, consider that. So here we have D flip-flop, 4 D flip-flop. As you can see, we connect clock to all of them similar. We also put a clear for all of them the same. I didn't put the 4 preset, but that also can be. And let's consider this output together. First of all, any question about that parallel connection? Like, for example, you ask me why we connect them to the one clock. Why? I ask you. You don't ask me, I ask you. Why we connect them to all one clock? Any idea?
Synchronized.
They become synchronized. Yes, they want to act together. We want to make them parallel. Very good. Yeah. We want to make synchronized. That's the reason. We connect them together. The reason of having clock is that to make, and this is a global clock. Every part needs to be synchronized with the clock to make decision nicely, wisely, without those glitch and okay. So let's go for this input. So we have 4 inputs, 0, 1, 1, 0, and this is the clock, and this is clear. These 2 are the control input, and this is the output. Oh, I don't. This green part is output, and I ask you, for example, I'm saying, okay, in this time, when the clock coming, you tell me which one is 0, which one is 1. Okay, so we can do one by one. Don't mix them all together. We can do one by one. First, consider just Q0, this one. So the Q0 get effect just by D0 and those control inputs. We just look at the D0. D0 is 0. D0 is 0. And clear, make it clear to here, but stay clear because the timing, the clock coming here in this line. Okay, what we gonna be, because D is 0, so we say 0. Okay. For Q1, because D1 is 1, this become 1. Q2, because D2 is 1, this become 1 too. And D3 is 0, so it stays 0. So it's act like a normal, but you need to consider bit by bit. So we made a register. Very simple. And they're not connected. They are just put together as a array of flip-flops or vector of flip-flops. At the input, they have same input as a clock and control inputs, but the data are separate. The data input data, they are separate, and the output is separate too, for sure. So this is making multi-bit data storage. If you want to make multiple bit data storage, you can use multiple D flip-flop or JK flip-flop. Good. What else? Each flip-flop has its own data. Let's share a common clock. When the clock edge arrive, all flip-flops latch their input because it's D data flip-flop, so they latch when the clock coming at the same time. And the clear is asynchronous, and it has high priority, and resets everything. Okay, but actually the clear was before this, so it didn't affect that bad. It didn't affect much. Any question about this example? It was simple. And the key point is that this parallel arrangement acts as a register that we talked about, that in temporary data storage in so many devices, CPUs, controllers, and things. Okay. Okay, I'm not, let maybe just finish this slide. Frequency division. Frequency division, for example, you have a clock. Frequency is the number of clock per second, or you can say number of edge that happening. For example, if this is a second, if this time, this is 1 second, for example, so the frequency is 3. So the 3 clock happening in 1 second. So this is frequency. We can divide and frequency divider means instead of, for example, having this frequency, we have this frequency. This is like we divide it by 2. And we divide it by 4, it becomes bigger because there is no more. So this is called frequency divider. We want to see how we can make a frequency divider. Oh, sorry, I made it. I made it wrong. This is here. This also can happen like this is 4. Because we are take care of the edge, a rising edge. So, so this is dividing by 2, dividing by 4, dividing by 8, dividing by something power of 2. We can do that. How we can do that? We just can use one flip-flop and actually do this multiple, we can cascade multiple flip-flop to do division. Let's just show this picture and we can, okay. So what we need to do, we just need to get input of the flip-flop, like D flip-flop, from Q bar. And any clock coming in, because clock make it active, So it makes it negative. So this output is going to be if the clock, for example, that's one frequency, one frequency is one, for example, uh, the, the output gonna be zero, 1/2, for example, half frequency, and so forth. We're gonna talk about that next class. But any question about this?